Hi friends, Terry Runyan here, visual artist and creative encourager. And I'm wondering if you ever get a sense that you're just not quite ready to create, that you have all kinds of things you got to get in line before you start. Whether it's your mood, you've got to use just the right materials, you have to have it figured out what you're going to create, maybe you have to have your cat next to you. All these things that have to be just right for you to start. One of the things that I have done in the past that's kept me from moving forward with my creativity was this inordinate need to look at as much research, whether it's artwork or looking outside, finding a subject to paint, having all the stars align in a certain way. But what happens when we do this is we feel as though we're moving forward with our creativity in that moment. We're like prepping for, we're getting ready for, we're gonna reach a point where we've got it and we're gonna go for it. And what I've found to be true for myself is I can get caught in this prep time. I can get caught in never getting quite enough under my belt before I start. And before I know it, I no longer have the energy to actually create something. This was a question I got from somebody on YouTube asking me to do a video around how to not have to have everything just perfect before starting. And having thought about this or been with it myself, I realized that this need or desire to get the perfect idea before I start is a way to take the guesswork out, to relieve us from the fear we might feel around the mystery of creativity itself. And it is a sense that somehow if we move forward with the unknown, with not knowing where we're going, that somehow that is risky for us, that we're gonna be thought of in a negative way, or we're gonna do some really bad art, or maybe people won't like what we do. But what I wanna talk about here is this idea of the risk in creating, that we are taking this risk whenever we move out into the unknown. And what I know to be true now that I didn't know in the past that might be helpful to you is that there really is no risk in creating, no real risk in creating. There are a lot of made up ideas about what living in a mystery, living in not knowing what's next would mean. And our heads like to make up all kinds of scenarios about how that'll turn out. And oftentimes those thoughts are not necessarily positive thoughts, at least they weren't for me. What I've learned now is that it's just as possible that what's going to happen is going to be an amazing thing, a thing that I'd never experienced before, something completely new. And what if what I do create is for the joy of doing it, like just to see what's going to happen? This new way of seeing has really impacted my life and how I create and how I show up at this camera and talk to you guys. It has made all the difference to me in the joy I have in my creativity, the joy I have in sharing, the joy I have in encouraging others. All kinds of cool stuff is coming and going and moving through us, all of us. And it's so much bigger than anything we can ever imagine. And the same is true with our creativity when we're making artwork or writing or whatever it is that your art form is. We are infinitely supplied with creative energy that's happening all the time. And the only thing that keeps us from knowing that is the thinking we have around it being otherwise. What I'd like to share is that this risk we think we're taking when we move into the unknown is really a risk that's not really there. It is something we think is there, and because we think it's there, it feels like it is. And the more I realize that that thinking is something that I don't have to pay attention to, in truth, all kinds of beautiful things can come forward as I move into the moment, whether talking on a camera or doing my artwork. You cannot even imagine what is just right there, ready to bud, ready to move through. And knowing that whatever it is that comes through isn't a reflection on you. It isn't saying anything about who you are. It's something that's coming through you and you're expressing it. It's almost as if we are a vehicle for this creativity. And we're here showing up and working with it and seeing the magic happen. Something being created out of nothing. This is pretty exciting, and today is Antique or Vintage Day at the Daily Creating Group. And I'm gonna do, I think, some hairstyles around vintage or hats or something. I'm not working from a drawing. I'm just gonna start in and see what happens. This could be what appears to be a disaster, or it could be something that's not a disaster. Maybe it's something I even like. But I'm gonna spend my time doing this, paying attention to just the process of it happening, just seeing how that feels, rather than being so caught up with where it's going and what people might think and whether it's good enough and all that. So that's what's up for today, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, I've got the line work for the shapes of the heads down, and I've got the watercolor hair and body shapes down. So now I'm going to start doing the features, and I've had fun just splashing around a little paint for where the hair is. And I'm looking at vintage pictures of models and Vogue and all that stuff as I'm working on this, and just, you know, to get hair shapes and that sort of thing. But I'm really not concerned about the overall outcome of this. I'm sort of paying attention to just what's happening in the moment and not giving a whole lot of thought or a lot of attention to those thoughts that come through that I made a mistake, or it's not quite good enough, or how great am I, or whatever's coming up. I'm just seeing that stuff go through and focusing back on what I'm painting, and that's all that's going on right now, and I'm having a good time with it. So for you when you're painting, if you can just keep bringing your attention back to what's going on right now in this moment with your creative process, and as these ideas and thoughts come through your head, they just will keep going through the less attention we pay to them. It's the nature of thinking to just float by, be fleeting, change. It doesn't stay the same. And the less we give it attention as if it needs us to do anything with it, the more we can just be in the moment with our painting. So it's time to add the features, and we all know what that means. I love doing this part, and we'll see how it goes. One thing I want to say about this as I'm working on it is, while I'm playing with these features on these girls, I'm aware that I want to have them be varied. That's kind of the only thing I have in my mind. I want to kind of mix it up and let these features happen whatever way they go. But at the same time, I don't want to just be doing cookie cutter stuff. Each one as I do it, I start anew with a different shape. It's not like I have a plan about how that'll unfold. It's very mysterious to me. I just have a sense that it's more interesting to do various types of shapes rather than all one shape. And we'll continue now. Okay, this is done for me. There's some things about it that I thought were really fun. I like how it turned out, but I could have just as well not liked how it turned out. These things are a mystery. And either way, I'm just so happy to have shown up here and started playing with this art. And you know, you guys, showing up and messing with your art or your creativity is really the point. There is not like something bigger we're shooting for here. This is the time for you just to move into that mystery and to do what appears to be risky. Really, it isn't risky. We are showing up to see what comes up for us and to see what's flowing through. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe, and I'll be talking to you soon. Have a great day.